Patience is a virtue. Everything in life takes time. Stay focused, stay consistent, stay on your grind. Wow. Second man up, just like Scottie Pippen. Had to wait my turn, I ain't even tripping. Double up like double cups, I ain't even sipping. Second man up, call me Scottie Pippen. Second man up, just like Scottie Pippen. Had to wait my turn, I ain't even tripping.
Thank you, everybody, for joining. Welcome to Street Dialogue Podcast. And we have a special guest today, John Jiggs. Welcome to the show, my brother.
What's up, man? Thank you for having me, man.
So go ahead on and introduce yourself for the fans and those who are watching that might not know who you are.
Okay, I go by the name of John Jiggs. They also call me Teflon John. Hip hop artist, man. I've been doing my thing. I guess you would say, like, on an underground level. You know what I'm saying? I've been working, grinding for a long time, man. You know what I'm saying? And I like to say that hip hop, is giving me some of the best experiences, you know what I'm saying, in my life, man, giving me a chance to travel and work with some of my favorite artists, before even making music, I was always a fan. So the fact that I get to rub shoulders with some of the same artists that I grew up listening to and things like that, man, is definitely a blessing, you know what I'm saying? And I just I've been putting that work in for a long time, man. And I say like probably like the past 5 years or so has really been paying off and actually seeing the fruits of my labor, you know what I'm saying? So just a blessing, man. I'm happy to be here, yo.
Facts. So we like to go ahead on and get a backstory, and dive into your background.
Yeah.
So where are you originally from?
Okay, so I'm born and raised in New York. I was born upstate New York, grew up in Long Island, you know what I mean? Um, been there, I was basically most of my adult life. I mean, I'm in Atlanta now, you know what I'm saying, but that's like the last 5 years or so, you know what I mean? But up until that
Right.
is New York all day. Um, and that's pretty much, what I mean, where I grew up. I grew up in a town called Riverhead. It's on Long Island, small town, you know what I'm saying, about probably 30,000-40,000 people, you know what I'm saying? And the thing about Long Island is, we close to New York City, so if you're gonna really make a name for yourself, you gotta go. Like a lot of people that come up in areas that are, what I'm saying, smaller areas, they gotta kind of migrate to the big city to kind of really, really make a name for themselves. So I'm no different. You know what I'm saying? That was definitely a part of my hustle, part of my grind, part of my come up. You know.
Got you. So how was life growing up in New York? Like, what's the backstory? Like, how did you come up in New York? You know what I'm saying? Like, what did you go through?
Okay.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
let us get into that. Like,
Well,
what's the backstory with?
what I would say is, I mean, to be honest with you, I mean, that single parent home. You know what I'm saying? Just me and my mom. Um, and I had I guess you would say a strained relationship with my pop, you know what I'm saying? Kind of here and there, in and out type of thing. You know what I'm saying? Probably from the time I was like probably 16, 17 years old, I ran the street a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Got in some trouble when I was a kid, got a little bit of a juvenile record. Thankfully, I figured it out by the time I got to be a man, you know what I'm saying? By the time I had my son and everything, I kind of, you know, I didn't necessarily stop doing the wrong thing, but just stop getting caught. You know what I mean?
Right, right, right.
You know what I mean? Like I spent,
Yeah,
from being a youngster and even in my early 20s, I spent a few nights in nights locked up, and I just knew that wasn't for me. So I, you know what I mean? I definitely I gravitated towards the music, and I also had like a lot of the guys that I ran with in the street, they recognized that I had talent, so they would also try to kind of keep me doing that. You know what I'm saying? Rather than what they were doing. You know what I'm saying? So I'm blessed about that too. Like I had a lot of people that looked out for me, you know what I'm saying, in the streets and things like that, and kind of try to steer me away from it or whatever, you know what I mean? Um, but
Right.
because I always, I've been doing this music. I probably wrote my first rap when I was like 12, 13 years old, you know what I'm saying? Ever since the first time I heard hip hop, I was in love with it. That was just what I wanted to do. And so, I always been doing the music. I had an older brother that's a DJ or whatever, so he definitely put a lot of this hip hop into me, you know what I'm saying, just by me just being around him while he's playing records or whether he's going to record shop. This is back in the day when DJs was using vinyl and everything, you know what I'm saying? And he would take me to the record shop with him and just teach me a lot about, 'cause once he saw that I had interest, he really like, he definitely fed that, you know what I'm saying? And think uh I think, to be honest with you, you hear people say it a lot, but really do feel like hip hop saved my life. You know what I'm saying? Um,
Right. Right.
yeah, and I think that's a very real thing. I think it gave me something to aspire to other than what I was growing up seeing. You know what I'm saying? But as far as my upbringing, my mother did the best she could. She worked real hard. You know what I'm saying? It was, you know, just but the neighborhood that I grew up in wasn't necessarily the best neighborhood, so it was still a lot of. Even though my mother tried to keep me away from all of the nonsense, I still it still was everywhere. You know what I mean? So, I got a lot of friends, like, my little group of friends that I grew up with, like as a youngster, like it's only like maybe one or two of us left. Everybody else is either dead or locked up. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
I definitely feel like, I just had looking out, God watching over me, obviously. Been in some tough situations, you know what I'm saying? And somehow I was able to make it out, see another day. You know what I mean?
Facts. So, what got you into the streets at a young age? Like, what made you get into the streets at a young age? Was it poverty? Because a lot of young black males, we have to fend for our
Mhm.
mothers. Especially when it's a thing got you into the streets. And what age did you start
Yeah.
getting into the streets?
Well, it was definitely like the thing is, I wasn't necessarily doing it because I felt like I had to help my mother, because my mother held it down. She's an educated woman, you know what I'm saying? So she had a career and everything like that. It was more to like take care of the stuff that I wanted. You know what I'm saying? I probably had everything that I needed. Looking back, I probably had everything
Right.
that I needed, but it was the stuff that I wanted. You know what I'm saying? It was the Jordans and that type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I really the reason I got in the streets. And then on top of that, it's just not really having like a male figure to be. It's like sometimes young men, we need that older man to put his foot in your ass when you're not doing the right thing, and I just didn't have that. You know what I'm saying? So it was like whatever my friends was on, that's what I'm on. You know what I'm saying? So, I think, I mean, I got two sons now, and I'm very, very active in their lives, because I know what it's like to have like somebody like a man. Like, once a boy gets a certain age, a mom, it's only so much a mom can do. You know what I'm saying? To keep them from doing this or keep them from doing that. So um I think just not having that back, not having that extra reinforcement of you're gonna do the right thing is probably what took me there, you know. But I wouldn't say it wasn't like we were starving and there wasn't no food in the crib, or you know what I'm saying. I would never put that on my mom. Like, she always, you
Right.
understand what I'm saying? But it was probably some stuff that I wanted, or whatever the case was, or I just, you know what I mean? It just seemed like to be honest with you, sometimes it just seemed like it was the cool thing to do. Like, I'm like, a lot of us probably didn't have to do that, but we just did it because the money, it was fast money, and it got you the things that you want. The girls, they only want the niggas with the cars and the clothes and the jewelry and shit. You know what I'm saying? So that's how we was. That's how we was looking at it. You know what I'm saying? And I was able to. I don't think my mother necessarily needed it, but I was able to help my mom with certain stuff at a certain. You know what I'm saying? Once I got to a certain age and things, so that's definitely a you know, definitely a. I guess you would say it's a plus, even though I was doing the wrong thing. It's definitely a plus. You know what I mean? To be able to at least throw
Facts.
something, help my mom out with something. You know?
Got you. So when did you actually start getting into music and stuff? Like, what influenced you to get into the music?
Well, I recorded my first record when I was probably like 16. That's like probably my first time in the studio. I started writing rhymes when I seen Crisscross. So that was like probably 12, 13 when I seen Crisscross, the group. You remember the kids group Crisscross, right? When I seen them, because before that I loved hip hop, but I always thought that it was like only
Yeah,
something that like
that you can make it
adults
jump.
did. But then when I saw Crisscross, you know what I mean? When I saw Crisscross and I saw how like dope they were and how successful they were, I was like, oh shit. So I started writing raps. You know what I mean? And I just was, that
Right.
was just like to do it on the bus or like do it at school or whatever. I had me and my cousin, we would write raps and just trade them with each other, things like that. Um, and then, like I said, I was doing that. And then by the time I turned like 16, 17, I was in the studio actually making records, you know? Um, or at
Right.
least like recording freestyles and stuff like that, you know?
Okay. So what schools did you go to in New York?
Okay. Okay. So, I mean, coming up, I was in like, I guess, um, like, I don't know, I'm trying to remember elementary schools like Phillips Avenue, then Pulaski Street, then the middle school, Riverhead Middle School, Riverhead High School, then
Right.
probably after freshman was after freshman I switched to West Hampton Beach High School. And then I actually went to Virginia Union for like I don't know, maybe like couple like a semester or something like that.
Okay. 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 So let's get into the music. So
Hmm.
you was collaborating with a lot of major artists.
Hmm.
So how did you make that connection with 50 Cent on the
Well,
co-sign?
ah man, I mean that was crazy. I mean, well, first it started off. I mean, I've actually rubbed shoulders with 50 a few times in the industry or whatever. The first time was like 2000, I want to say 2005 or 2006. I was in a group called the 495 Boys. We actually met in high school. I was in a group called the 495 Boys,
Right.
and we got to open up. And we got to open up for 50 at Nassau Coliseum. That's the first time I met him. And then years later, I was actually shooting a video. It was like 20. This is like 2014, something like that. I was shooting a video, and the director of the video is from the same neighborhood as 50, right? So I went to his house. You know what I'm saying? We out there on Guy Brewer. That's you hear 50 talk about Guy R. Brewer Boulevard. That's like one of the major strips in Southside Jamaica, Queens, or whatever. So we was
What's good? It's your boy 12 Gauge. If you need anything to do with social media, you want to get into acting, you want to get into music, you want to get into being a fitness model, and you need to get your name out there, hit up my boy Golden Money Team Marketing. He'll sort you out real good. He's the man.
out there shooting a
Right.
video, whatever, and I all of a sudden I see like a black SUV ride by with tents or whatever. So they kind of pulled like right in front of me and like parked on the side of the road. And then the door, some big security dude gets out, right? And then he opens the back door. And I'm still recording, like I'm still filming at the same time while all this happening. If you go back and you watch the video, the name of the song is called Bill Cosby. You can actually see me looking out of my peripheral because I see somebody coming towards me as I'm filming the
Right.
video. So I can't make it out right away. As he gets closer, I'm like, yo, this is fucking 50 Cent, yo. This is crazy. And he literally walked up to me and
Right.
was like, yo, he was like, yo, let me get a cameo. And he just came in the video, you know what I'm saying? Like put his arm around me real quick, threw the peace sign up or whatever. Or I think he did a finger point or something like that. And he did that and he just at the same time just ran off right after that. And you know what I mean? And that was just crazy. It was crazy.
Okay, so Biz Markie, how did you get that cosign?
That's what I'm saying. Like, to be honest with you, I think it just happened to be me just being out there. This happened to be a day that 50 had come back to the hood or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, I'm playing. You know, we
Yeah.
got got the speaker, we got the speaker playing the music. So I don't know if he rolled by, maybe he heard it, thought it was dope, whatever the case is. But he just decided he wanted to do a cameo on my video. And if you go back to the video, it's still up on YouTube.
Oh, so this was the same video
Yeah,
shoot?
yeah, yeah,
This is
yeah,
a
yeah.
different video or
No, it's called
the
Bill
same
Cosby.
one?
It's called Bill Cosby. Yeah, he just came out of nowhere, jumped in my video and bounced. And then I'm asking the director like, "Yo, you got that right?" He's like, "Yeah, I got that." You know what I'm saying? And we just, you know what I mean? We put the video out. 50's in the video. He's definitely in the video. And that's just, you know what I mean? It's, and I've, like I said,
Right.
I've been around him a few times. Like, you know, I've been around him in like nightclubs. You know what I'm saying? He's just a cool ass dude. You know what I'm saying? I never really got a chance to like work with him. You know what I'm saying? Because he's a busy man. I mean, that's a once in a lifetime chance. But just the fact that he even threw me a bone by jumping in my video was like enough for me. Like, you ain't got to do no record or nothing, dog. Like, you already did enough. You know what I'm saying? Because when Long Island sees this,
Right.
when Long Island saw that, they were like, wow, like, you know what I'm saying? So it helped me. It
Yeah.
helped me a lot.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It definitely helped me a lot.
So the next name that I seen that you also had a shout out from was Benny the
Yeah,
Butcher. So how
yeah.
did that come about with
So
that cosign?
so 2018, I signed a deal with this record company from Rome, Italy called Tough Con Records. Working on this project with this producer Kunz. It's
Mm.
actually an EP that I put out called Teflon John. And they had I guess they had been working with him too, so they thought that we would be a good fit to do a record together. So, you know, they reached out to him, I did the record, and then so I did the record with him, whatever. Then what happened was he um he had come to Long Island for like it was like a celebrity basketball game at Nassau Coliseum. So when he came to Long Island for the first time, we had already done the record, but we had never met. So when he came to Long Island, we finally met up and we talked, you know what I'm saying? And you know what I'm saying? We just busted up, man. And he just like a lot of people, I don't know, people probably don't might not know this, but like Benny is like a real humble, down to earth dude. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like he's a, you know what I mean? He's definitely a good people person, which is rare in the industry. You know what I'm saying? Most people are not like friendly and like approachable, you know what I'm saying? But Benny is definitely one of those people who's like, you know what I mean, just solid, just a solid individual. You know what I'm saying? He what's it called? You know, we worked together, and then you know we had at the time we had formed a little relationship. So like, you know, he allowed me to open up for him when he came to Long Island perform. I would open up for him, and then he actually I got invited to come out to L.A. and open up for him, and you know what I'm saying. We just you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like now he's like you know he's really like through the roof. He's out of here, so I haven't talked to him in a few years. You know what I'm saying? But he's definitely like he's one of the more solid individuals, and he definitely when he was on his way up, he didn't mind helping pull me up too, which I thought was dope. You know what I'm saying? Word.
That's dope.
Shout
That's
out to him, man, and
dope.
all his success.
So
Word.
you also okay, so you also performed for Floyd Mayweather at the celebrity
Yeah.
basketball game. How did that come about? Like you around superstars, like you running into people, you networking. Like how did you perform for Floyd?
So I had I at the time I was working with this marketing company called Full Focus. Shout out to Chris Finoli at Full Focus. And they had put me on. They had let me know about this celebrity basketball game that was coming up in Orlando. And so what we did was we worked out a deal for me to perform at the celebrity basketball game. It was Floyd Mayweather versus I think it was Chris Jackson. I think he played for the Tennessee Titans if I'm not mistaken, something like that. at the time,
Yeah.
and so I went down there. That was actually really dope, dope experience because I got to perform at a real arena like a Orlando Magic's the Amway Center. You know what I'm saying? Like that was super dope. You know what I'm saying? It was a great just a great experience, you know what I'm saying? Got to be around Floyd, got to be around Chris Jackson, I think Popeye, a few other NFL players and things like that. And yeah, nah, that was a really
Yeah.
dope night. That was a really dope night. And that's probably the biggest crowd that I've ever done. I think it was probably about 6,000 people there. So, you know what I'm saying? That was pretty cool. You know what I mean?
Facts, facts. So let's get into it.
Hmm.
So New Breed.
Yeah.
What was the concept behind that song, and what was your thought process when you created New Breed?
Yeah, I mean that was a really really dope record, and actually that's one of the, I like to tell people, man. I feel like my best records are like written on the spot. Like it's not too much overthinking. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm all about vibes. You know what I'm saying? So like if I hear a track and it speaks to me in a certain way, the song is already being written without me even like consciously doing it. You know what I'm saying? If I hear something and I hear a
Hmm.
certain melody or I hear a certain flow or a certain set of thoughts start flowing through my head, the song is already damn near halfway written. You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of what happened there. I had me and DJ Mickey Knox, we had a good relationship for a long time. He actually used to be my manager. You know what I'm saying? And he had let me know that he was coming down to Atlanta or whatever, and they had basically just kind of like did an Airbnb, and it was going to be like a content house. It was going to be like have a bunch of studios set up, things like that in the house, and we just going to be recording or whatever. So I pulled up on him or whatever, and we sitting there in the studio just vibing, having a couple drinks or whatever, and he played the beat. And I'm like, yo, just let it rock. And I just, it probably took me about a half an hour, and I just came up with what I'm saying, came up with something for it or whatever. And that was what it is, man. And it was just, it sounded to me, it just sounded like, like something I could dance on lyrically. You know what I'm saying, and that's kind of where I took it on that joint. You know what I'm saying? But it's just, it was just something to I hadn't seen Mickey in a while, and it was just something to kind of let's break the ice, let's do something because it's been a minute since we did something. You know what I'm saying? And that was what it was, man. Shout out to DJ
Yeah.
Mickey Knox too.
So when you get into your creative process, when you record, are you punching in or are you writing? Because I know a lot of people like to
I'm
punch in.
Yeah, punch in.
So what is your way of recording your music?
I'm a writer. I love to write. Like
Okay.
that's always been my thing is writing. Like I wanna, you know what I'm saying? I feel like that's the best way for me to like really get my point across is like to write. I mean, I could freestyle. I know how to punch in. Like there's some records that I've done like that. You know what I'm saying? If it's like, yo,
Right.
the thought is in my head and I just want to say it before I forget it or something like that. I may just punch it or whatever. But most of the time, I'm sitting down and I'm writing my shit. You know what I'm saying? Because I want it to be that potent.
Right. 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 So you also had a song called "Every Day," produced by the Street Runners, which peaked at number 2 on the college top 10
Hmm.
charts, and also it was featured on Shade 45. What was your thought process in creating that, and how do you meet up and click up with Street Runners?
Okay.
Like, how collaboration come about?
All right. So I had most of my career, the bulk of my career has been like underground hip hop, like boom bap. But one thing that I started to notice was like, in my travels and everything and touring and things, one thing that I started to notice was like there was like the underground record, like the underground hip hop scene was booming, but there's like no party records. Like there's no like
Right.
everything was like super serious and super lyrical and like you know what I mean? And it just seemed like it was like too like and I was just like like, yo, there's got to be a way that I could make something that people can dance to and have a good time and still have it be hip hop. It was almost like they just put you in a box.
Right.
Like if you rap good, it's like you can't make records. You can't make party records that maybe a female would like, or that maybe, you know what I'm saying. You can't. It's almost like they tell you. It's almost like they tell you you can't do it. So I was just like,
Right.
nah, fuck that. Like, I know how to rap good, but that doesn't mean that I don't like to go out and have a good time. You know what I'm saying? Just
Correct.
because we MCs, and just because I'm an MC, or just because we MCs and we make hip hop doesn't mean that we can't, we can't make a record that the girls can dance to, or, you know what I'm saying? So that's really where the motivation came from. You know what I'm saying? And then I started to look for because the key to all of this is the production, right? You got to have the right beat. I needed the right beat that wasn't super duper boom bap, but also not too far left to where I'll lose my core fan base. You know what I'm saying? So that's where Street Runner
Right.
came in, because he was one of the few producers that was able to create that sound for me, to where it was a little bit different from what I was normally doing, but it wasn't so far left that I just alienate everybody that's been supporting me this whole time, you know? So, and because that's a
Right.
very fine line that you have to walk. Like, as an artist, I encourage artists to try new things. But if you have a fan base that's been supporting you, don't go and do some shit that's just totally left, because it's especially now with so many people doing music, it's very easy for people to forget about you or say, oh, he changed. You know what I'm saying? I see it happen all the time. You know what I'm saying? So you have to be very careful. It's a very tight rope that you have to walk. And
What's good, y'all? It's your girl Pinterest, and I just want to give a big shout out to Golden Money Team Marketing. Y'all make sure y'all get at them for all promo services, all marketing services, the whole nine, media, all that. Make sure y'all tell them that your girl Pinterest sent you.
I think with that record, I was able to capture that. And one of the other thoughts behind the record was, I noticed at that time when I dropped that record, there was a lot of back and forth between, like, the older generation and the younger generation, right? The older generation
Yeah.
was basically downplaying what the youngsters had going on, and the youngsters, they don't want to hear it from the old heads, right? And there's a disconnect there. So I thought, what if I could make a record that had an old school melody, famous hip hop sample that everybody knows? If you love hip hop, especially from the '90s, you know the Cool Like That record. You know that song. That's one of the most popular songs from that time. I'm like, okay, so let's use this old school melody, but then let's give it some updated drums that the youngsters ain't gonna that the youngsters are gonna rock with. And that was the idea that I came to Street Runner with, and he was able to execute it beautifully. You know what I'm saying? And all I had to do was just, once I got the beat, I wrote the record in like 10, 15 minutes. You know what I'm saying? Because it was that perfect. It was exactly what I needed, you know?
Right. And that was a dope track too. So, Nom Nitty, how did you collaborate with Nom Nitty? Like, who is Nom Nitty?
Oh, so Nom Nitty, he's like that. Nom Nitty is like my brother. That's like one of my best friends in the world. You know what I'm saying? And he's actually signed to my company, Monopoly Music. You know what I'm saying? And I've known
Okay.
Nom for probably about like a good 15 years now. You know what I'm saying? And we don't just work on music together, like we like family. You know what I'm saying? And we just have a very good synergy together, you know what I'm saying, when it comes to making music. And it's a very easy thing. It's like, it's more of a fun thing when I'm with him and we doing music. Like, we just, you know what I'm saying, we just
Right.
know how each other work, you know what I'm saying? And shout out to him, man. He's, and one thing that I love about him is that he's one of the few artists people that I have on my team, or he's one of the main people I have on my team that I don't have to tell him anything. He's working. Like, it's to the point now where I got to keep up with him, because he saw what I was doing
Right.
like they're pumping out fat music fast and touring and just doing the interviews and putting the work in, networking with the DJs. He saw what I was doing and he followed suit, and he's got a career for himself. You know what I'm saying? And I love that. Like, even when I'm not, I feel like even when I'm not here no more, I know Nom Nitty he's gonna carry what's going on. You know what I'm saying? He's gonna carry it on,
Right,
carry this movement on. You know what
right.
I'm saying? So shout out to Nom Nitty. Word.
That's dope. That's dope.
We got an album coming out. We
So,
got an
how
album coming
important do
out
you
too.
feel it is having?
I'm sorry.
Oh, y'all got an
Yeah,
album coming out.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Me and Nom
What's
got
the
an
name of
album
the
coming
album?
out. It's called So the title that we've been playing with is Archie Bunker. He says I'm Archie Bunker. He says I'm Archie Bunker. Like hey, I guess he feels like I could be a grouchy motherfucker sometimes.
Right, right, right. That's dope. So, what I was going to ask is, how important is it to have a team around you, especially in the music industry? Talking about team, you know what I'm saying? Why do you feel it's important to have a team around?
it's it's key. It's key. You know what I'm saying? The manager, the publicist, the producer, the video guy. I mean, the booking agent, like all of that is key. If you have the right team next to you, you know what I'm saying, you can go very far. I mean, talent will get you to a certain level, but having the right people around you to work, even when you because the thing is, the better team you have, the more you can just concentrate on making music. You know what I'm saying? I think
Right,
when you're an artist, you gotta and you have to but you also have to worry about this and you also have to worry about that. I think it could take away from the art and what you're really there for. So, you know what I'm saying? I advise everybody, man, build it if you're starting out, you know what I'm saying? Build a nice team for yourself, man, so you can, you know what I mean? It'll help you get a lot further, a lot faster too. You know what I mean? And the
so
thing
coming
about
from
it is,
New York.
yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, I was
My
just gonna
bad.
say, and the thing about it is, a lot of these different those different roles that I just named, a lot of those people, if you're really working hard and you grinding, a lot of those different people will find you,
Right.
rather than you going out and saying, "Oh, I'm
That's
looking for
fact.
a manager," or "I'm looking for this." If you really out here putting it down and you making a name for yourself, those people are gonna be looking for you. Like, my manager found me. You know what I'm saying? My manager found me. A lot of the people that I work with, a lot of the people that I have around me, they found me because I was already, you know what I'm saying? I was already putting work in. They just kind of saw where they could help. You know?
Right, right, right. I was gonna ask about New York, but since you brought it up with the man, do you feel artists actually need managers?
I would say so. I think that you want to, especially
And
once
at
you
what
start,
point
like,
do you feel you need a manager?
I think once you start doing shows, once you start doing shows consistently, if you get to the point where you got like one or two shows every month, or just things that you want to do, you know what
Right,
I'm saying? I think it's always better to have some representation for yourself when it comes to these situations, because most people who are doing shows, most people who are booking shows and things like that, they when you when you go to discuss business, period, people general perception of musicians is that we not that bright. You know what I'm saying? And that we might not understand business. Most people who are really good artists are not that great at business. People who are really talented, not that great at business. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's a perception that people have. Even if that's not always true, that's the perception that people have. And I think that if you have some representation that knows the right questions to ask and and knows the right things to bring up, I think you can go a lot further. You know what I'm saying? I mean, for a long time, I didn't have a manager or anything like that. But once I got a manager, things started to change and things started to be put in place where I could actually see myself, climbing up the ladder. You know what I'm saying? I was actually, and I could actually see some return on all this money that I was spending. You know what I'm saying?
Right, right. So I was gonna ask, coming from New York, what do you feel are the top 5 artists coming out of New York, past or present?
Top 5 out of New York. Biggie, Jay-Z, Nas. Biggie, Jay-Z, Nas, probably Jadakiss. Probably Jadakiss, and I would say like Prodigy from Mobb Deep.
Mm.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah, yeah. I don't
So,
know. Yep.
so do you have a top 5? Let me get your top 5 in hip hop, past or present.
Okay.
Besides New York, past or present, who will be your top 5 then?
Top 5. Okay, so I would probably still go. I'm gonna go.
Okay.
I'm gonna go Jay-Z. I probably would still go Biggie, Jay-Z, Nas, but then I would probably go
Yeah.
like maybe Tupac. Um, so 5 is difficult, bro. Um, Biggie, Jay-Z,
Biggie,
Nas,
Jay-Z,
Tupac.
Nas, Tupac. Just one
Um,
more.
and, and that last one would probably have to be uh, Eminem, maybe. Even though I'm gonna take back
That's a
that Eminem
good.
because I haven't heard nothing by him that I like in a long time, but he did have a big impact. Um,
He had a big impact,
his
a
impact was
major run. No
his
bullshit.
impact was insane. But to be honest with you, I would be wrong if I gave Eminem that 5 before I give like a Snoop Dogg who's been here for 30, 40 years and still relevant now. I probably say Snoop. Just because like Doggy Style, like, you know what I'm saying? That was definitely like a moment, like a real moment. That's probably one of the first hip hop albums that I really listened to, like front to back and
Yeah.
memorized. You know what I'm saying? So even though Snoop, his music ain't been the greatest lately either, he still, to me, he kept the quality going for, like, to me, a lot longer than Eminem. Like, Snoop got a lot of his records over the years I think is like crazy. So I go Snoop. I mean, I go Biggie, Jay-Z, Nas, Tupac, Snoop.
Okay. Okay. We about to wrap it up real quick in a few. I got a few more questions.
Hmm.
So the current state of hip hop in New York, how do you feel about the new wave of art out of New York? These young artists, with your style, you could tell that you from Long Island, you from the boroughs up there. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Hmm.
But it's a lot of these artists you can't even tell they from New York. Like, how they rapping, they're not keeping that New York style. Y'all wanted to bring hip hop to a national level.
Hmm.
What do you feel about these young artists in New York right now
Well,
and the
I
current
mean, I
state
agree.
of New York hip
I mean,
hop?
I agree with you. Like, a lot of them don't sound like they're from New York, but I think the internet is to blame for that. Which is not. I
Right.
mean, I think I look at it like this: the internet made the earth flat. The internet made the
Mm.
earth flat. The internet made it to where everybody has access to the same clothing, the same music, the same everything. You know what I'm saying? I remember when you used to, before the internet, you used to be able to go to a different place, right? And you would hear on the radio local hip hop. You would be able to go to the mall and get some different clothes that you would not be able to find nowhere else. They were wearing different sneakers. Everything was different. You know what I'm saying? But now the internet is
Right.
like everybody has access to the same stuff. You know what I'm saying? So now there's not really too much individuality to the point where you could have you could stand a Chicago kid next to a New York kid, next to an Atlanta kid, and you can't tell who's from where because they all have the same clothes on. You know what I'm saying? It used to be a clear cut difference between, it used to be regional.
Hey, what's up, y'all? This is Anxious Money. Just want to give a quick shout out to Golden Money Team Marketing. For any type of help with music, media, promotion, marketing, got you. Again, Golden Money Team Marketing. Salute.
I guess you would call it culture or whatever you want to call it. You know what I'm saying? But it's like that's not there anymore. Now, as far as New York, I think that I'm not one of these older guys that's like, yo, that's just ready to hate on the youngsters. Like I feel like if it's keeping them, if it's something, if it's working for them, then I say go for it. Whatever it is, even if I'm not a fan of it, I can respect the fact that you're grinding and you got a fan base and it's working for you. You know what I'm saying? Now, what
Right.
I will say is what I will say is like I think like even though I'm not a big fan of drill rap, I think Pop Smoke was amazing. You understand what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right. Right.
It's a new
Yeah.
style. It's not always the new style because the originator of the new style to me is always dope. It's just 1,000 motherfuckers that try to sound like them after that I think is trash.
Right.
Like if I like you understand what I'm saying? Like, like when Future came out, Future is fire. I still listen to Future today. I just don't want to hear the other hundred niggas that's trying to imitate him.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I
Right.
only
Right.
want to
Right.
hear it
Right.
from him. Only want to hear it from the originator. You know what I'm saying? And it's the same thing with Pop Smoke. It's the same thing with whoever. Soldier Boy wasn't whack. It was just all those other niggas that tried to be like Soldier Boy. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's the whole thing. I think hip hop. I think that's what keeps hip hop going is the somebody coming up with something with a new style, with a new flow, with a new beat pattern, whatever the case is, drum pattern. You know what I'm saying? I think that's what keeps hip hop going. It's just what also keeps hip hop going is the originality. You know what I'm saying? So I don't
Right.
necessarily think there's anything wrong with hip hop having a different sound. It's just it's got to keep evolving. Everybody's got to create their own lane instead of just trying to kind of do what's already working for somebody else. You know what I'm saying?
Right. 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 That's facts. That's facts.
Yeah.
You know, everybody do got to stay in their own lane and try to find their own way and their own style and be creative in that way. So, this is a question I like to ask all my guests that come on. What do you value more in life? Morals or money,
Uh,
and why?
definitely morals. Definitely morals. I mean, my mother just raised me a certain way. You know what I'm saying? So even when I was in the street, I mean, there was just certain stuff I wasn't gonna do. You know what I'm saying? It was certain. I'm not a liar. I'm not a thief. You know what I'm saying? That's just never been
Right.
something. You know what I mean? I just feel like I can't
Fact.
even sometimes I'll be saying this to my manager all the time. I said sometimes my conscience. I feel like if I didn't have such a conscience, I probably would be further in this industry. But I'm just not a scumbag. Like I'm not the type of person that's gonna tell you. I'm not the type of person that's gonna tell you, yo, meet me here at 5 o'clock, and I know damn well I'm not coming. I'm not one of those people. There's a
Right.
lot of people
Right.
that will tell you
Right.
that,
Right.
or you know what I'm saying. I'm just not one of those people. If I know I'm
Yeah.
not gonna make it or whatever, I'm gonna reach out to you and let you know I'm not coming, or I'm gonna just tell you right there on the
Right.
spot I ain't doing that shit. You know what I'm saying? But there's, you know what I mean. So
Facts.
I
Facts.
feel like, yeah, I don't have that slimy type of, you know what I mean. And I really I can't even before. if even if I'm about to do something that's like grimy, I could just hear my mom like, you know that's not right. Don't do that. You know what I'm saying? And people respect you for your
Yeah.
honesty. Sometimes being this way is not always the easiest. You know what I'm saying? But to me, it helps me sleep at night. You know what I'm saying? I'm just, you know what I mean? So I think that more, I mean, I love money, you know what I'm saying? I love to be able to take care of my family and take them on vacation and provide a good lifestyle for them and all of that. But I'm not willing to, like, just certain things I'm not going to do, even if it is money involved. You know what I mean?
Right. Because I like to ask people that question, especially artists, because when it comes to music and the industry, they gonna test your morals. And some people do things for money over the morals, and they throw morals out the window. And you gotta value your morals because you gotta live with certain things. So
That's what I'm
money
saying.
ain't everything. You know
That's
what I'm
what
saying?
that's what I'm saying. And that's why you be seeing these people and they be having all this money and they be unhappy because they did so much bullshit to get it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They did so much
A lot
bullshit
of
to
these
get it that they like
artists,
a lot of these artists they be getting to that put they be getting or everything that they ever wanted, they got it now and they still not happy. Is because they not happy with themselves for what they had to do to get there. You know what I'm saying? That's their conscience
facts,
eating them alive
facts.
because they they didn't they not comfortable, and they know that they have, and a lot of them they have a act now that they have to keep up forever, that they don't want to, you know what I'm saying? A lot of these guys don't want to be in the streets no more,
Yeah.
but it's like they got so many people believing this shit that they have to. It's like now I just gotta. It's like sometimes you might run into a guy that's in the streets for real, and he's like, "Yo, I don't even want to do nothing to you, but I have to because that's what everybody's expecting me to do. I actually like you. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right.
I actually like you, and I don't want to hurt
Yeah.
you, but I got to do it because if I don't, then everybody else gonna think they could play with me. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it just is what it is. You know what I mean? So that's
Facts.
what That, that's kind of what that's kind of what happens, you know what I'm saying? And unfortunately, we live in a very materialistic world, so they got people that are willing to do whatever, sell their soul to get the next whatever, you know what I'm saying? So it is what it is, you know what I mean? But I don't come from that, you know what I'm saying? I come from
Yeah.
even though we had struggles, and I'm not, everything that like I said, I ain't no angel or nothing like that, but I believe in honor amongst thieves and all of that. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, there's just certain shit you ain't got to worry about with me. You know?
Facts. So another question I like to ask all my guests that come on the show: what comes first in your life? Money, power, respect, and explain
Uh,
why and in what order.
okay, so I would say what comes first. I would say
Money,
I
power,
would I would say
or respect.
yeah. No, what comes out to me? I think what comes first is actually it's crazy, man. So I'm gonna be real. The money comes first, but like I said, it don't come before my morals. But the money is gonna come first because the money will get you everything else. Like people might not respect you, but then so the money will get you the power, and then once you have the power, you know what I'm saying? Once you have the power, people can't do nothing but respect it because they already know that they know that you're powerful, so people are gonna respect that off the bat. People don't necessarily respect money, you know what I'm saying? People don't necessarily respect money, but they will respect the power that comes with that money. You know what I'm saying? And money will definitely get you the power. You know what I'm saying? I think a lot of people they kind of what's that word I'm looking for? Self self destruct because maybe they have too power. They get drunk off of power. You know what I'm saying? I think
Right.
I think yeah. So I think but I think at a certain time you got to respect the power too. You know what I'm saying? Even if you're the one with the power, you have to respect it, because if you abuse it or misuse it or overuse it, you know what I'm saying, it could end up backfiring on you, you know?
Right, right, right. You the first one that said money, but you had a damn good explanation of why. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
the
nah,
first
I
one that
think,
came on the show and said money.
yeah, they go.
That's a nice explanation.
Yeah, they go. Yeah, I think that's probably the best way to look at it. You got to get the money, because you need the money to survive.
Mhm.
Period. Like, you gotta, if you got a family, you know, they gotta eat. They can't eat no respect. They can't eat no power. You know what I'm saying? They get, you know what I mean. So the money got to come first. But once you get enough money, then you become powerful. You can make things happen. You could pull strings. You know what I'm saying? And then
Right,
people gonna respect that. Once people see that you could, you know, that you could do that you could maneuver, then they gonna have no choice but to respect it.
facts. That's a great analogy too.
Yeah.
You the first one that came with that, and you had a damn good explanation. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you.
So when it comes to your social media and your platforms, where can people find you on social media? How can they find you on social media and listen to
Okay.
your music and
Oh
stuff
yeah,
like
so I
that?
got John underscore Jiggs. You know, I'm right here on this live right now. JOHN underscore JIGGS. And then I also got a backup page, the real John Jiggs. You'll follow me on X or Twitter or whatever at Jiggs the Great. I think Threads is John underscore JIGGS. Facebook is JOHNJIGG $. And then make sure you hit me on, you know, Spotify, YouTube, and all of that. Man, subscribe to the YouTube page, John
Right.
Jiggs with the $. You know what I mean? Tap in with me, man. I got a lot of
Most
music,
definitely.
man. If you just finding out about me today, you need to go ahead and fall down that rabbit hole. I got 13 albums, 3 EPs, bunch of singles, probably about at least like 50 music videos up on YouTube. Just go tap in, man, and you know what I mean. Get down with the content. You know what I'm saying?
Right, right. Most definitely. Y'all go follow at John Jiggs, John underscore Jiggs on Instagram, and the real John Jiggs.
It's the YouTube channel. Yeah, if you at
For
John
your
Jiggs, yep,
YouTube.
with the S. So if you put in, even if you put in the $ too, and my page will come up.
Got you. So thanks everybody for watching this interview. Thanks for coming on the show, John. I appreciate it. Most definitely love and chopping it up with you. Also, y'all make sure y'all go follow Street Dialogue Podcast on YouTube. And I gotta give a big shout out to our sponsors at Golden Money Team who are sponsoring us
Yeah.
on Instagram. Y'all go follow them on Instagram at Golden Money Team Marketing. Most definitely, my brother, salute. And if you want to come back on the most definitely, we could chop it up again.
And shout out to the Golden Money Team Marketing. That's right, 24/7 non-stop marketing.
Patience is a virtue. Everything in life takes time. Stay focused, stay consistent, stay on your grind. Wow. Second man up, just like Scottie Pippen. Had to wait my turn, I ain't even tripping. Double up like double cups, I ain't even sipping. Second man up, call me Scottie Pippen. Second man up, just like Scottie Pippen. Had to wait my turn, I ain't even tripping. Hustler. Keep the mind of a hustler. Mind of a hustler. Mind of a hustler. Mind of a hustler. Mind of a hustler.